Hi warriors, how are you doing? And a big welcome to the repair, restore and retrain session. So before we start, just make sure that you have got some water, very handy. And also, if you've got it, grab yourself a can of something. I've got baked beans, hurrah! Maybe yours will be more exciting. Yeah, because we're going to be doing a little bit to do with weights, just to help tone up our arms and to keep our shoulders strong. But the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to make ourselves comfortable. I'd like you to take a seated position, and we're not necessarily going to be cross-legged, because as soon as we cross over, the typical cross-leg position is where you cross over at the ankles, and as soon as you cross over the ankles, it actually puts your pelvis in a bit of a tilt, and the pelvis is what establishes the line through your spine. So if your pelvis is a tilt, then your spine is also not going to be able to be as straight or as tall as you might want it to be. So for our seated position, just make sure that you can see both ankles when you take a glance down. Sit up nice and tall. Imagine you're lengthening through the crown of your head. You're going to roll those shoulders back. You can have your hands comfortably in your lap, on your knees, or however you want. For some of you might find it helpful to have it on your belly. I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes and to take some deep breaths in any way you like, doesn't matter how, but we're just trying to fill up your lungs as much as you can. And as you breathe out, just try and get out as much oxygen and as much air from your lungs as you can. So you're trying to take in the fullest breaths possible, and you're trying to get as much air out of your lungs as possible. So you're trying to breathe as efficiently as possible, getting as much air into your lungs, and therefore giving your body the best chance of flooding those blood cells with wonderful oxygen. And it's also really important to try and get rid of as much air from your lungs as you can, because that will then create space for beautiful fresh air to come in. During this time, I also want you to think about what's moving in your body. So as you're breathing in, what's moving? Are you breathing in? And are your shoulders lifting up? Are you breathing in? And is your chest moving? Are you breathing in? And is something else happening? So just be conscious of how you're breathing. And along with this, also just do a quick scan from top all the way down to your toes, just to see where you're holding any tension. And every single time you breathe out, just focus on one area that you're holding particular tension in and just try and release it. It's really important to try and get this breathing as efficient as possible. If you've been breathing in through your mouth or breathing out through your mouth, we're going to take it now into just nasal breathing. So you're going to breathe in and out through your mouth. And this time, as you breathe in, I want you to take the breath down into the belly. So as you take a deep breath in, if you've got your hands around your belly, you can feel your belly pressing out, pressing your hands out, forwards in front of you and also out to the sides. And you're going to fill up this area first before you then start expanding through the rib cage. And as you breathe out, just think about gathering in the pelvic floor from back to front, and imagine you're squeezing, starting right from the pelvis all the way up, gradually getting out as much air from your lungs as you can. So take a deep breath in through the nose, you're breathing in through the belly. The belly's expanding to the front and to the sides, and as you take it up to the rib cage and see that expand, I also want you to breathe in through the back. We have a huge capacity for movement through the back of the ribs, and it's really important that we focus on this as well. As you breathe out, imagine you're rolling up the bottom of a toothpaste. You're just going to gather in the pelvic floor from back to front, and imagine just tightening and squeezing all these muscles, trying to squeeze out the air from your lungs from the bottom up. Keep the shoulders nice and still. So we're going to add a bit of timing to this now. You should be able to hear that. A couple of rounds, we're going to take it into what's known as box breathing. It's a really important technique just for calming down your mind and your breathing and your body. So you're going to breathe in for a count of 4. Hold it in your lungs for a count of 4. Breathe out for a count of 4. And hold no air in your lungs for a count of 4. And you're going to continue doing cycles of this. Breathing in for 4. Holding the air lightly in your lungs for 4. Try not to bear down. You're going to breathe out for a count of 4. And you're going to hold no air in your lungs for a count of 4. So keep doing this. You also want to try and improve at every cycle. So try and make that breath slightly easier. Or if you can, take it up a number. You're breathing in for 5. You're holding for 5. You're breathing out for 5. And holding no air in your lungs for 5. If you find that that's too hard, then stick with 4. If you find 4 is challenging, take it down to 3. What we're looking to do is to find out where we're comfortable and then also challenge it. It's really important to start challenging our body. And especially with this, we're also challenging our mind. So try and keep your mind nice and calm and your breath nice and calm and steady. Don't forget, breathing in and out through the nose, you're filling up from the bottom of the belly, taking it up through the diaphragm and the ribs. And when you're breathing out, you're going to be gathering in the pelvic floor from back to front. That will help tighten up the lower abdominals. And then you're going to start squeezing all the way up the body, pulling the belly button in towards the spine and squeezing down through that rib cage as well. So we're looking to try and get as much efficiency as possible with this. I don't know if you've ever had a moment in your busy lives to take a look at how your little ones are breathing. But this is how babies breathe. They do belly breathing. It's fantastic because it also helps exercise the diaphragm. So the more of a fit muscle we have in our diaphragm, which sits just underneath the lungs, the more lung capacity we can potentially get as well. The diaphragm is also associated with emotions. So if you're holding tension through here, it's quite likely that you're holding tension and stress within your body. So by releasing, expanding, contracting, using that diaphragm to its fullest potential, you're also going to be helping to release some of those tension and emotions as well. We've only got a couple more cycles now, so try and improve as much as you can on this. Don't forget to sit up nice and tall. Have some softness around your face. Focus on that breathing. And at the end of your next exhale, just going to float the eyes open. And we're going to take both arms up above our head. Sit up nice and tall as much as you can. Try to lengthen through the spine and through those fingers. The right elbow is going to come down into the right thigh. And we're going to stretch, stretch, stretch all the way over. Keep the shoulders nice and open. And use these arms for an active stretch. Literally try and claw your way to touch the other side of the room. Make sure this hip is nice and grounded. And with each in-breath, try and lengthen and lean, stretching even more through here. Good. You should literally feel your skin stretching. Well done. And take a deep breath in, take it all the way up, and let's take it over to the other side. So stretch, stretch, stretch. Use this elbow in your leg for leverage. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Make sure we're also grounded through that right hip. You want to be trying to push that right hip into the ground at the same time that you are reaching and reaching over with those fingers. Good work. Sit up nice and tall. See if you can get a few inches more extra height just by sitting up even taller and lengthening through that spine. Take a deep breath in, all the way up and down. We're going to roll the shoulders forwards. We're going to roll the shoulders back. Good. From here, take the head gently to one side. The hand is going to come over. We're gently going to use the hand and gravity to give ourselves a little bit of a stretch through the side of our neck. With our free hand, we're going to drive the heel of that hand down in towards the floor. We're going to sit up nice and tall, pull the fingers back, and we're going to raise that left hand up roughly so it's just about shoulder height. Don't forget to just relax and release through that neck. So what you should feel through that left arm is a real tension stretch. It's a real nerve stretch through here. Good. And over to the other side. Let's drop the left ear down towards the left shoulder. Got the hand that comes on just to help increase that stretch. Driving through the heel of the right hand. We're going to pull the fingertips back and we're going to take it all the way up. Good. Hold this here. Really enjoy that stretch, that nerve stretch through the arm. Feel a bit of release through the neck as well. Good. Release. And now we're going to come back down onto our back. Right. Do you know what's going on with my leggings today? Keeps falling down. Okay, so lying on our back, we're just about going to brush the backs of our heels with our fingertips to make sure they're close in enough. We can also do a bit of a chopping motion if you take your arms up, shoulder width apart, and you take them all the way down. They're going to brush down past your thighs. And you also want to make sure that your heels are sitting within those fingertips. So we don't want to take them out too wide. From here, we're going to have hands on our pelvis. And I just want you to rock gently back and forth. It's really important as well to try and get some movement through the pelvis and awareness through the pelvis of how your pelvis is sitting and also how your body responds to it. So we know that as soon as we're tilting our pelvis forwards and we've got our hands on our hips, our fingers are coming forwards, that we get a bit more of a pronounced arch through our lower back. So this position is quite a common position for postnatal women to walk around and stand in. And what it does is it can put quite a lot of pressure through the lower back here. And as soon as you tilt that pelvis in, you should notice as well, oh, sorry, rogue cat. You should notice that that little arch through the back has actually gone and the lower back will be pressing in towards the floor. So this is a great one, just as well if you suffer from any lower back pain, to really focus on tilting this pubis bone up in towards the ribs and straightening through that lower back through the spine. Okay. So we're going to combine a pelvic floor activation as well now. So tilting the pelvis forwards, we're going to breathe in, take a deep breath, we're going to relax everything. And as you breathe out, you're gently going to gather in the pelvic floor from back to front. And you should also notice that your lower abdominals might tense up a little bit. So you're going to take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, you're going to gather in the pelvic floor from back to front. The lower back is going to press down towards the ground. And you're also going to get some activation around the lower core at the same time. So we don't want to force this movement. It's just a gentle movement. Taking deep breaths in. Exhaling, gathering in the pelvic floor, drawing the lower back down towards the ground. Deep breath in. And gathering the pelvic floor and pressing that lower back to the ground and activating through that lower core. So from here, we're going to progress to a hip bridge. Take a deep breath in, you're going to relax through that lower back. It might come up into a little bit of an arch. And as you breathe out, gather in the pelvic floor. You're going to squeeze your glutes together. You're going to drive through those heels, and we're just going to take your bum up off the ground. It's really important not to take your hips off the ground too much, because we want to try and keep this nice straight back. And as soon as you take those hips even more, what happens? Your back starts to arch, and this can actually put pressure through that lower part of your back. So you only want to take your hips up as high as you can without your lower back starting to arch. And a way of being able to do this, or to know where you are with this, is if you have your little fingers on the tops of your hips and your thumbs just underneath your rib cage. So if you have your other fingers flat on your belly and you come all the way down, and you then roll through the vertebrae up, 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 up. As soon as your fingers start to move apart, you know that you've gone too far. So it's the closest your fingers are together before they start to move apart. That's when you know you've gone high enough. So you can either keep your hands on your ribs to give you a good sense of how much you need to come up off the ground, or you can keep your hands down onto the ground, wherever feels most comfortable. If you have your hands down on the ground, that just gives you a little bit of extra stability. Again, with this, really important to make sure that as you take the bum off the ground, the knees don't widen out. It's really common to have a tendency that as a bum comes off the ground, our knees tend to swing open. So be aware of this, which is also good because you're going to be working your leg muscles, the sides of your leg muscles as well. And we'll do another 3, 2, don't forget that pelvic floor, and 1. This time we're going to hold it all the way up here, and we're going to do little tiny pulses. So you're moving your bum up and down, just a couple of inches up and down. You're pulsing, 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 pulsing. Good. You might start to feel this working the legs. Really focus though on squeezing your glute muscles. We're trying to get this movement coming from your bum. So squeeze, 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 squeeze. 3, 2, and 1. Hold this all the way up here. Squeeze, 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 nice and tight. And you're going to roll all the way back down. Release with a little forward pelvic tilt. Good. And now we're going to take it all the way up again. From here, hands to the ground, stabilize us. Just want you to try marching one foot off the ground and then the other. If you need to, you're going to roll all the way down again before you take it all the way up and do another 2. If you feel like you have the stability, then you can keep going. But with this exercise, this isn't about just whether you can get your foot off the ground or how high you can pick that foot up. It's actually about how stable are your hips when you're doing this. So if you had, imagine you had a glass of water that was placed on your hips. You would want to try and be able to keep that glass of water from tipping over or falling off, because your hips would be so in line and straight and stable. Let's do one more with this leg. Good. Roll all the way down, and we're going to take both knees one by one in towards the chest. Hug it nice and tight. We're releasing all the tension through the lower back here. And we'll do gentle circles with the knees to release a little bit more tension through the lower back. Let's change directions. Nice. And we're coming back down. For this one, got some more hip bridges. You're going to curl up, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Now we're going to take the heels off the ground. And we're just going to do little pulses. This slightly changes the leg muscles that we use. You still want to continue squeezing through the glute. That's the main thing we're focusing on. To squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. But it also gives us a fantastic toning and strengthening through the backs of the calves as well. Keep squeezing. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good. Good. If your upper back, this part is sinking down, then just take it up a little bit, but don't go up too high. So keep squeezing all the way through. For 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold this here, and I just want you to squeeze. First one bum cheek, and then the other. So, as you're squeezing one, I want you to release the other. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Now we're not looking to get much hip action here. There shouldn't be much swinging through the hips. It's a very, very small little movement. So if your hips are kind of swinging from side to side, that's not what we're after. We're actually just squeezing those glute muscles, trying to activate them, because it can be really hard to connect with our bum muscles after pregnancy. And so this just gives us a little bit more awareness of them. And we've got 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Roll all the way down. We're going to pick the knees in towards our chest. First one, then the other. We're going to flip our feet so that our soles of the feet are facing towards the ceiling. And we're gently going to draw our knees in towards the elbows. So imagine we're doing some weird crouching on the ceiling. And we're going to pull those knees in towards the armpits. So relax, make sure you're breathing. Don't know if any of you have read the Twits recently. There's a fantastic section in it where the monkeys turn the Twits' house upside down. I've just been reading that with my 3.5-year-old. Good, so gently draw the knees in to increase and intensify through the legs and stretch. Good. And we're gently going to take those knees back down. So we had a bit of a question the other day about diastasis and what it is, how to check for it, and some exercises that you can do about it. So I'm just going to take you through that really, really, really quickly. In case you don't know, diastasis recti literally means separations of the recti muscles. So your recti muscles are those six-pack muscles. There's 2 of them. And they sit side by side, and they kind of go around your belly button. And what happens is during pregnancy, the connective tissue behind it gets a little bit stretched as it does, because obviously it's got to accommodate your growing belly. And as it stretches and stretches and stretches, these 2 muscles move slightly further apart. And what happens is that you then have a bit more of a gap between these muscles. Now, after pregnancy, when you've had your baby, what often happens for most women is that connective tissue generally gradually comes back and regains its sort of elasticity, and that draws the 2 recti muscles closer together again, so that gap kind of closes up. For some people, you might need a little bit of extra help, because that connective tissue might not have as much elasticity as it did before. For some of you, you might have actually had a diastasis without really even realizing it before pregnancy. So I'm going to take you through a technique to work out whether you have it. So if you're lying down on your back with your knees bent, we're going to take, say, 2 or 3 fingers, and I'm just going to show you by rolling over, and you're going to be feeling down this midline area. So from just above the pubis bone to just above your sternum, so just below your sternum or where your rib cage is, just through here. So you might want to actually come in and underneath your clothes and your leggings to do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to activate those stomach muscles so that we can feel them. Now you're looking, using your fingers, and make sure it's nice and gentle when you're doing this, pressing down on your tummy, is we're looking to measure the gap between those rectus muscles. You should be able to feel the edges using finger widths. And then you're also going to press down and feel the tension that you're getting back. So if you imagine pressing down into a pillow, that's not much tension at all. And imagine pressing down onto your skin, that gives you a lot more resistance. So you're going to take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, you're going to take your head and your shoulders just an inch or so off the ground. We're going to continue looking forwards, and you're going to take those fingers and I'm just going to press down along that midline. And what you should notice is that you'll have two ridges of muscles that you can then press your fingers against. And you're going to measure the gap between those muscles. Now, it's a really hard one because you need to make sure that when you test for this again, that you are lifting your head off the same amount. And you don't need to take your head off much. So have a think about what the gap is between the different areas. Remember to breathe as well at all times during this. So you want to measure the gaps, so just above the belly button, around the belly button, and also down below the belly button. So it's measured in fingers. And generally speaking, a gap that's 2 or more fingers wide is considered formally to be a diastasis. And the only reason why they've got to have some kind of an idea of what measurements it is, and they only do it by width, they don't do it by tension, is for insurance purposes. So if you have a feel down for the width, you then also want to press down into that gap to see how much resistance you get back. And always a good idea to write this down and record it so that when you check again in a month's time or so, you have got something to work with and you can sort of check to see whether you're progressing or improving. It's not necessarily a harmful thing to have a diastasis. What it can do, it can put you more at risk of having a hernia. And it also suggests that you've had quite a lot of what's known as intra-abdominal pressure. So there's been quite a lot of pressure that's been pressing out against the walls of that connective tissue. What else would you need to know, or what else would you want to know? If you experience anything where, I don't know, you're lying down in bed and you start to sit up, so you're coming into that crunching motion. If you notice any doming, so if you have any of your abdominal muscles poking up like that, whereas before they were like this, and there's something springing up so that they're a few inches higher, then that could be a sign that you are not managing that pressure properly. And if you have any doming, where the sort of it comes up into a bit of a point or a bit of an arch, then that's also another indicator that you might have a bit of a diastasis. So if you notice that whenever you're sitting up, and I sometimes get it because I've got a diastasis, mine's about 2 to 3 fingers below my belly button and about 1.5, 2 fingers above. And if you do notice that as you're sitting up, then come onto your sides before you do sit up. But take heart, because it can be managed. So I can still do press ups, I can still do sit ups, as long as I get my breathing right. Okay, so some exercises that you can do to help this. We're going to straighten through that right leg. You're going to take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to gather in the pelvic floor from back to front. So why are we focusing on the pelvic floor? Because the pelvic floor and your stomach muscles are really, really highly linked together. They kind of work together. So take a deep breath in. Everything relaxes. And as you breathe out, you're going to gather in the pelvic floor. And at the same time, we also just want you to find a bit of a connection between the lower stomach muscles. So if you've got 2 fingers on your hips and you take them in towards your belly button, just a few inches, and press them down there. As you're doing that exhale and gathering in the pelvic floor, you might feel a little bit of tension underneath there. Don't worry if you can't. It can be so hard to connect and reconnect with these stomach muscles after pregnancy, especially if you've had a cesarean, and it can take a bit of time. The first thing to do is to take a deep breath in, breathe out, gather in the pelvic floor, connect with the lower abdominals. Imagine you're gently drawing the belly button in towards the spine. And we're going to take another deep breath in. You're going to breathe out. You're going to gather in the pelvic floor. You're going to draw the belly button in towards the spine. At the same time, we're just going to take your right leg off the ground a few inches. And you're going to take a deep breath in. So you're just taking that foot off the ground for the length of your exhale. Deep breath in and breathe out. Gather in the pelvic floor. Draw your belly button down towards the spine, and you're going to lift that leg off. So you can also take a little bit of a look, or you can feel with your hands in your belly that when you're taking your foot off the ground, is your back arching, and are these stomach muscles pressing up into your fingers? Are you seeing any kind of doming as well? Let's go. We're going to do 3 more. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out, gather in the pelvic floor, connect through the lower core abdominals. Good, and just take that foot off the ground. Good. Deep breath in. Breathe out, gather in the pelvic floor. We're going to press the belly button in towards the spine. Good, connect the lower abdominals and lift that leg up off the ground. Good. Got 1 more, take a deep breath in. And you're going to breathe out, gather in the pelvic floor, gently press the lower back towards the ground. The leg comes off a few inches. You're going to hold this here for the length of your exhale. Nice. Let's bend this knee, take this one in, swap over. Now with the left leg. Deep breath in, expand through the belly. As you breathe out, you're going to gather in the pelvic floor. You're going to make sure that these stomach muscles aren't popping up or doming through the middle. Good. So imagine you're connecting, a real connection with that lower part of your abdomen. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, gather in the pelvic floor. Lower back like pressed towards the floor. Good. Feel some tension happening through here. Good. And let's go. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Gather in the pelvic floor. Make sure you're breathing out the whole time, not holding your breath. And a deep breath in. Let's release the foot down towards the ground. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Gather in the pelvic floor. You're going to feel some activation to the lower core. Your back's going to press towards the ground. Good. And relax. Breathe in. The last one, let's make it good. Breathe out, gather in the pelvic floor. Press the lower back towards the ground. Gently going to draw the belly button in. Hold this here for the length of your exhale. Good. And relax. Let me know how that goes. You can either message me in the WhatsApp group or you can message me directly if you have any questions, or you might be concerned that you do have a diastasis. So for this next one, I'm going to do another little core exercise. Arms are going to come out towards the side, and you're going to take a deep breath in. The left knee is going to come out towards the side, as low as it can comfortably go. Now, as you breathe out, gather in that pelvic floor again, and you're going to take the knee all the way back up. So you can see a little bit better. Take a deep breath in. The right knee is going to come out to the side. The left knee is going to stay nice and stable. As you breathe out, you're going to draw that knee back in with control, gathering in the pelvic floor. Good. Deep breath in. The other knee falls out towards the side. And as you breathe out, gather in the pelvic floor. Draw the knee back up. Good. Deep breath in. Right knee comes down. And as you breathe out, gather in the pelvic floor from back to front. Good. Nice, steady movements with this. We'll do 1 more on each side. So, you're going to relax that leg all the way out. Breathe out, gather in the pelvic floor, activate through those lower core muscles, take it all the way back up. Last one, right side, let the leg come out towards the side. As you breathe out, gather in the pelvic floor from back to front and gently draw those knees in. Good work. So, we're going to take it up and off the ground. If you want to, you can pick up your cans. Right, let me change around this camera. Good. Okay. So we're going to get, oh my gosh, what's going on? There you go, that's better. Hurrah, you can actually see me this time. Okay, so we're going to get nice and warmed up, just focusing on the feet for now. I want you to keep your hips nice and steady whilst you walk through those feet. So keep the toes on the ground and just take the heels off one by one. We're going to start warming through the legs. We're going to get our heart rate up, we're going to get our body prepped for exercise. And let's get some arm movements in. So imagine you're showing me what's on the front of your cans. Show me what they are and bring them back in. Oh yes. Oh look. Oh no. Oh look. Oh no. Oh look. Oh no. As you do this, make sure that when you're pulling the cans forwards, we're not rounding through those shoulders. You want to keep a nice straight back, and at the same time you also want to be pulling these elbows back as much as you can. So we're opening up the chest and we're stretching through the chest, and we're also stretching through and working the shoulders. So let's keep this going nice and fast. If you want to try and make this even more effective, then you can just rotate the cans outwards as you take them out in front of you. So that is the movement slowed down. And that will give you a really beautiful stretch through the arms as well. Good. Keep the head and the spine nice and long. Don't shrug through the shoulders. If you need to do this without the weights and do them, that's absolutely fine. Don't forget, bring the shoulders or the elbows all the way back as well. So we'll take it up to the front, and let's take it now front and side, front and side, front and side. Good. Let's warm everything up. Front and side, front and side. Keep going, keep going. Oh yeah. And let's now go front, side, and above the head. Front, side, and above the head. Front, side, and above the head. Good. My arms, I have to say, are already aching. I've done quite a lot of these exercises recently with cans of beans. And it really does get your shoulders, I have to say. Okay, last one. Front, side, and above. Good. From here, take the feet just slightly wider than hip width apart. You can put the cans down for now. You don't necessarily need them. I'm going to turn the toes in slightly. And I want you to feel like you're pressing out through the outside edges of your feet, whilst at the same time, you're also turning those knees in. So this gives you a really nice, stable base, because this part of your body isn't going to move at all. Only the top part. Take the arms out to the side, and we're going to just shift the top part of your body over, trying to keep everything else nice and still. I always feel like this looks a bit like a magic trick. You know, and you've got those people that saw people in half and then they move the top bit of the box. I'm wondering if they're just very good at doing this. Okay, and over to the other side. So this is lovely because we're starting to get some movement through the lower part of the spine. And this is such a good exercise that actually everyone benefits from this exercise. It's not just postnatal women. The old benefit, those who've been sitting at a desk, spinal health is so important. Let's go from one side to the other now. Good. As soon as we lose the flexibility and mobility through the spine, then it means that if we have anything that requires spinal movement, or we do any jerky movements, we have quite a lot of tension or weakness through the muscles surrounding this area, and that can cause some issues through the vertebrae and also through the muscles. So this also does help just increase the muscle strength around this area. Okay, and I'm going to take it into side bends. So don't forget, keep the bottom part of your body really, really nice and still. Good, you shouldn't have any movement at all. What I often see is that as soon as we tip downwards, the hips start swinging. So just keep an eye out for that. Take it over to the other side. Good. Nice work. And we've got 3, 2, and 1. Let's do one side and then the other. Good. So before, when we were sliding from side to side, that was our lower back that we were working. And now we're just working through the upper back. Good. Really good. Got one last one. And up. Coming to the side, I'm going to show you how this works. Imagine now you've been punched in the stomach. So you've been punched in the stomach, your knees go forward, your back rounds, and you hunch all the way over. Remember to get your head to come with it at the same time. And roll all the way up. So if you're punched in the stomach, you breathe out. And as you breathe in, you roll all the way up. Breathe out. Breathe all the way in. If you can feel anything going on through your back, you know that there's probably a little bit of tension through there that you've been carrying. Last one, breathe out and all the way in. Okay guys, we are ready to work out. So we have got 5 exercises. We're going to do each exercise for 45 seconds and we're pretty much going to go from one exercise to the other. Once we've done the full 5, then you'll be able to have a 10-second break. Being generous. So we'll have a 10-second break and then we're going to do it all over again before we take in some lovely stretches. So when you are ready, pick up your weights. And our first exercise we're going to take it into is no impact jacks. So imagine jumping jacks without the jump. This is a really nice exercise because we are getting our arms working. We're also working on some single leg strength. So single leg strength, really, really important for things like just your everyday things, like just getting up and down the stairs, right? And really good for those of you that are perhaps wanting to start getting back into running or other types of impact exercise. This is great because it also focuses on hip stability at the same time. So stretching out, try and increase your height as you're doing this. You always want to be nice and tall. We've got 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming in to a little mini squat here. Back nice and straight, left leg is going to stay bent, and we're just going to step that right leg out towards the back. So as you step it out, you should be making a right first of a straight line between your shoulders, your bum, and your foot. And you know how I like to maximize our movement. So let's keep those elbows in nice and tight. Again, following the line of the back. And we're going to take it into a tricep kickback. All the way down and back up. Good. Keep that back nice and straight. Good. Stretching out through those legs. Guys are doing really well. Make sure that left leg is nice and steady. You want to try and keep the knee directly over the toe. So you don't want to let it wibble all around. Let's swap over legs. So our right leg is now going to be the base and left leg is tapping out towards the back. If you dig the toe in and as you're taking the leg out towards the back, you're also going to get a really nice stretch through the leg at the same time. So this is a strengthening and a stretch exercise. Let's keep going. You've got 30 seconds left. Focus on your breathing. Keep that spine nice and straight and nice and long. Good. Don't forget the smile. We need to have a smile on our face. We are so lucky to be able to move. There are lots of people out there who don't have good mobility or who aren't able to move. 3, 2, and 1. Okay guys, you ready? We're going to hit the slopes. We're coming down into some skiers. Let me shift this mat over. So as we come down, we're going to take the arms up into bicep curls and we're just switching over, coming down into close knee squats. Coming up through those feet and all the way around, coming up onto the toes. And again, I'm making this a doubly impactful movement by getting our arms working at the same time. Good. Ski, ski, ski. I mean, guys, this is exactly like skiing. Who needs to go away on holiday when you can just grab a can of beans and me in your living room and you can get on with this. Right, what do we have next? Okay, 3, 2, and 1. Balance exercise as well as arms. This is a real killer. Take the foot out to the side. Let's pull those toes in and drive through the heels. And we're going to take the leg out. Nice and controlled. With the arms, we're not just going to hang around here looking like a cactus. We're going to do tiny, tiny 90-degree rotations through those shoulders. Take it nice and slow. Make sure you're not looking out that standing leg. So make sure you're not pressing through the back of the knee. We've got 15 more seconds. Whoops, keep your balance. Focus on your breathing. Breathe in through the belly. Try and keep everything nice and steady. 3, 2, and 1. Over to the other side. Nice straight leg. Good. And we're just taking it out and down. Good. So this is really nice for shoulders. Shoulders are not built for our arms to be able to take lots of weight. So it's actually really important that we strengthen up the surrounding muscles with these joints. So our legs, fantastic at carrying weight. Shoulders, not so much. Which kind of makes it tough, right? When you've got a child that just seems to be getting heavier and heavier. So we need our shoulders and we need them to be strong. And in order for them to be strong, we've got to work on conditioning them. And this exercise is great for it. 3, 2, whoops, and 1. Good. Left foot in front, right foot back. Going to take the heel up. Going to come down just into static lunges for now. Trying to get right angles between those knees. Let's take it up and down. We're going to take it up into a pull down with the hands. So every single time you take it down, just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze through those shoulder blades. Focus in front of you. Make sure your breathing is steady, that you're not holding your breath. This is great. This whole set is, I think, a fantastic full body workout that you guys are getting. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Over to the other side. Let's go, go, go. Straight into it, guys. Down and up. Down and up. So you're pulling down, squeezing those shoulder blades back, lengthening up as you come into your standing. Good. So try and have the full movements, taking it down and up. You can breathe out as you stand back up and take the weights over your head. Got 20 more seconds. Before you get a 10-second break, guys. Don't say I'm not generous. Let's go. Focus on your breathing. Focus on your balance. Again, we lose a lot of balance. So this is a really good exercise for focusing on balance. But 3, 2, and 1. 10 seconds. I'm counting you. Grab yourself a drink. And guys, we're straight back into it. Got a no impact jack. Taking the arms up, whoops, and over. So again, this is a nice one for opening up through the chest. Make sure that when you're taking the hands up, that they're over your head or even just slightly in front. You don't want to go so far back like that because we're not so good with shoulder strength as soon as we take things behind us. So really important that when we're doing these exercises, we are keeping ourselves injury-free. So if this feels like it's too much, drop the weights. 3, 2, and 1. Coming down into our half squat. And we're going to take this foot out towards the back. Left leg is still, right leg is moving. Let's also get tricep kickbacks in at the same time. Good. Get some good strength through that standing leg, people. Don't forget the smile on your face. Do, do, do. I hope you guys have got some music. I think it's weird exercising without music. But if I use any music on this, and because of all the copyright issues, as soon as you put it onto YouTube, they take it straight down. Or, I don't know if they take it down actually. I think they just get rid of all the audio. I just don't know how effective it will be if you've just got me doing weird moves and looking like I'm talking. One more, good. Over to the other side. Come again down into a half squat, knees close together. And we're going to combine with that tricep dip. Good. Focus, focus. Good. Tap back through that toe. If you want to get the extra stretch in, then press through the toe as you take that foot back. Oops. Make sure you're still in your half mini squat here. You're not creeping up into a standing position. Also, try and keep your hips facing forwards if you can. Good. Keep breathing. Keep that back nice and straight. Keep those elbows pinned in towards your body. And we've got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Huzzah! Straight into it. We've got our skiing squats. So we come down, we reach up through the toes. Again, we're working on balance. We're stretching through the back of the legs as we take it into our skiers. If you find it's too hard or you don't have the right floor to spin on, then just step. Come up and step. If, however, you've got skiddy floors and you can swoosh, swoosh your way through, this might help also if you're wearing socks, but I have to say, this kind of exercise, or any exercise, I think, should always be done barefoot. We spend so much time with our feet inside shoes, and actually it's not very good for our feet. We've got 3, 2, and 1. Oh man. 1, 2, the one that I really dread. Let's get it over and done with, straight into it. We're going to take the leg out, flip the toes up, drive through the heel. As the arms, leg comes out, the arms are going to come down. Oh. So this is achy because I did this exact same set twice yesterday as well, after having done some more arm workouts on Monday. So Monday and Tuesday are like my normal workout days. And so I then use the rest of the week to try and get like a little bit of a run in or some more gentle exercises. Try and keep those elbows up. Don't forget these cactus arms. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Let's shake out the shoulders. Let's go straight back into it. Flip the toe up, drive through the heel. And as we take that foot out, we're gonna sink these hands down just to shoulder height. Good. Again, make sure that you are not looking out that standing leg. Oh my God, is anyone else's arms burning? Getting very hot in here. Oh, they're on fire. Good news though, you've only got 20 seconds left. So keep smiling, keep breathing. We can get through this, guys. You got through childbirth. You can do this. Let's go. We have got 6. 5, whoa, don't overbalance. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straight into the last exercise. Left foot forwards, right foot back, heel raised. Taking it down, up, and down. Good. Squeezing those shoulder blades, reaching up nice and high. Focus, focus, focus. Oh my God. Okay, I can do this, I can do this. This is nice because this is also a really good balance one. And for any of you, again, looking to focus on leg strength for things like running or impact activities, especially through the legs, this is really nice. And through the chest as well, what's great is that it's helping you with posture, it's opening up your chest, it's also strengthening through those back muscles. And let's swap over sides. So, right foot in front, back foot, back heel off the ground, coming down and up. Good. So stretch, squeeze, stretch, squeeze, stretch, squeeze. Taking it all the way up and squeezing those shoulder blades nice and close together. Focus on the breathing as well. So breathe out and in. Breathe out and in. Especially with the out breath, you can also focus on drawing in the pelvic floor. And honestly, if you focus on your breathing and just your breathing, you'll find it so much easier. You'll start to forget about all the burniness. You've got 3, 2, and 1. Guys, you did it. Put those weights down. Big round of applause for you guys. And a high five. So let us slowly start to stretch. You can keep moving with the feet for now. Good. It's not a good idea just to stop what you're doing immediately. And let's roll the shoulders backwards. Good. Nice work. Take both arms up above the head. You're going to drop that right hand down just towards the nape of the neck. You're going to use your left hand to help stretch up through your triceps. Don't forget to stand up nice and tall. Keep padding through those feet from side to side. Good. And let's change it over. Good work. Nice. Padding all the way through. Just keep moving. That's the cat. You can see there's like either a honeybee or a wasp. I'm pretty sure it's a honeybee. It's climbing on our window and the cat is like, dude, you're dead. But I'm also scared of you. Okay. Let's sweep left hand across the chest. Left arm across the chest. Keep that shoulder nice and down. When you're doing this as well, just have a think about your posture. Try not to stand like this, looking through the legs and pushing that pelvis forward. Try and keep everything in a nice straight line. Good. And over to the other side. Keep a little bit of movement going through those legs. I'm sure most of you actually do this anyway, because as soon as you've had a baby, you just seem to spend all your time just rocking from back to forth. And I still do this now, even though like my little ones are, well, almost 2 and almost 4. Okay. Shake out those arms. We're going to roll through the head and the neck, little half circles, all the way down. Feel the stretch up through the back of the neck. Good. Hands on the hips. Take it through some hip circles. Remember to try and stand up nice and tall with this so you're not sinking in. You need to make sure your posture is good. You're standing up nice and tall. Good. From here, put the weight to the back foot. We're going to flip that right toe up, and we're just going to, almost as though we're going to sit down to feel the stretch up through the back of our legs. Okay, sink even further into it, and pull that toe up for an extra stretch. Nice, and let's swap over. Weight on the back foot. Going to pull the toe up. Imagine you're sitting, dropping your weight through the back here, nice straight back. And you're going to feel the stretch up through the back of that leg. Good. Good. Standing all the way up. We're going to pull the right knee in towards our chest. Stand up nice and tall. And we're going to circle through the ankle. First one way. And then the other way. Squeeze the knees together. Grab that foot in the hand. You can do this up, putting your foot down. And bonus points. Squeeze those knees nice and tight. Stand up nice and tall. Imagine you're just going to tilt that pelvis. So you're tilting that way slightly. Good. And that will immediately start activating a stretch through this area. Nice and tall. Feel that stretch. And let's take it over to the other side. So let's stand up nice and tall. Make sure you're not looking out through that leg. Got a little bit of gentleness through the knee. You're going to hug this knee in and circles through the ankle, first one way and then the other. Good, without putting the foot down on the ground. We're going to pull those knees in nice and tight together. You're going to just tilt that pelvis under, and that will activate a stretch through the front of your thigh here. Stand up nice and tall, feel that stretch, keep breathing into it. Good. Right, to finish with, let's just shake, 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 shake off your leg. Imagine you've got a small child hanging on and you're like, get off me. And let's shake through the arms. Ugh. Imagine you dried your hands for like the 1000th time, trying to get rid of all the water. Let's get rid of the water on the other hand. Ugh, ugh, get it off, get off, get off. Oh, another child or a small dog or, I don't know, something horrible, a spider. Ugh, get rid, shake, shake, shake. And to finish, we are going to take the feet slightly wider than hip width apart, and we're going to sweep these arms all the way up above our head, breathing in hope and optimism and light, and as we breathe out, we're getting rid of all our stresses. Deep breath in, hope, optimism, confidence. Breathe out, get rid of all the stresses, all the anxieties, all the tension. Last one, take a deep breath in, and deep breath out, sigh everything out. Okay guys, you are done. That is your workout. Remember to stay hydrated, eat well, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Any questions that you might have, then please don't hesitate to ask me in the Warriors Live WhatsApp group. You've also got Neve, who is in there, and she's a women's health physio. So any questions that you might have with relation to pelvic floor or something just doesn't feel quite right, she's a really good one to ask. We both work quite closely together, so often she might come and have a chat to you, and then I can help work with you on some exercises. Also, don't forget, I do offer personal training sessions online, so if you do fancy something that's a bit more targeted to your specific body and to any goals that you might have, then please do get in touch. Otherwise, have a fantastic rest of your week. Bye.